So the first thing you will need to do is download a scriptwriting software. You can use Microsoft Word or Apple Pages, but the formatting process will prove to be strenuous if you choose to go this route. I would suggest investing in the latest version of Final Draft if you are serious about screenwriting. If you're just looking to dip your toes in, there are a few software options that you can try out, where the first script or two is free, and then you can decide if you would like to invest in the full versions. The first thing you will need to do in order to begin writing your opening scene is type out your first slugline. A slugline, or a scene heading, if you're working in Final Draft, is always written in all caps and should be formatted as such pertaining to the scene to come. Interior or exterior, meaning does the scene take place indoors or outside? The location of the scene, and the time of day that the scene is to be taking place. For example, if I want the opening scene of my film to be taking place in a backyard at sunset, my slugline would look like this. The next step in writing any scene is crafting your opening action line. While action lines are often used to describe the actions of the characters taking place in the scene, they can also be used to convey any important characteristics that you, as the writer, see as important. This can include prop placement, set design, sounds that should be included in the mix, or any other elements that you deem to be important to the overall story. I also feel I should caution you against looking at your script as you would a novel. You do not need to describe every single detail of the set design, wardrobe, etc. Only include the details that are important to the overall theme and story. All the rest will be filled in by the crew once your script moves into production. For example, if your main character is sitting on a regular old blanket, you can simply say that and move on. But if she is sitting on a specific blanket that her grandmother made her, and maybe her grandmother just recently passed away, you should go into more detail. Now, if you'll notice, I wrote girl here in all caps. That is because whenever you are introducing a new character in the action line of a script, their name will need to be written in all caps, followed by a short description including their age and often some notes on their wardrobe or appearance that highlight key aspects of their personality and/or their state of mind in this introductory moment. Now let's add in our first line of dialogue for Shelley. Dialogue is always formatted like so, with the character's name nearly centered and in all caps, with their lines written out underneath. See the description below for the exact margins if you're working in Word or Pages. There are many ways to modify your dialogue to ensure that the movie playing in your reader's mind matches the one playing in yours. If you would like to give any sort of direction that is pertinent for proper delivery of the line, you would do so by adding that in with parentheses in between the character's name and their dialogue, like so. If you would like the character's dialogue to be done in voiceover, rather than being said by the actor on screen, you would add VO in parentheses next to the character's name. The same goes for if you would like the line to be said off-camera, OC, or off-screen, OS. Additionally, if you would like to break up a character's dialogue with action lines, their subsequent lines of dialogue will need to have CONT''D, which means continued, added in parentheses next to the character's name. The last thing we will go over today is the transition line. This is just as it sounds, a line indicating a specific type of transition into the next scene. I want to point out that you do not need a transition line to effectively end a scene. You can just move forward with your next slug line if you choose. But if you would like to highlight a specific intentional transition, this is your place to do so. Some transitions you may want to include are fade in, fade out, fade to, fade to black. I would suggest only including transitions when it is necessary to convey a certain point or idea. For example, if you are drastically shifting tone between scenes, such as at the end of a sad or dramatic scene. If you will be transitioning to a scene with happy, uplifting tones, you may want to fade the sad scene to black, therefore indicating the end of that tonal chapter and the beginning of a new, brighter beat.